I'll be playing this a little bit of this speech until we get started here, folks.
That's crazy, right? But they do it because they don't want that review. And what it leads to is the perpetuation of wasteful.
What's up, folks? This is Kenny with Just the Right Angle. All right, that's enough of that. Well, folks, that's U.S. Congressman Matt Gaetz, who spoke at Saturday at the Arkansas 1st and District meeting. Welcome those of Just the Right Angle live stream. Now on Facebook via Rumble Studio. It's a new feature I have. It makes it a lot easier for me to switch angles. I'm still on Podbean, where you can listen to me live and share with others. I'm just posting some links here that you can share. It is Wednesday, February 21st, 2024. I am enjoying, I guess, either you could call it the second winter or third spring. I don't know whatever you want to call it. Do feel free to invite others to this. I'll be talking a little bit about some things that have happened in the past and then things that are coming up. First and foremost, I heard about this really bad news about this thing that's going on. I want to share people a reason why, one of the reasons why I'm involved in the things I'm involved in. I saw this. I actually heard about this, I believe, on the Dave Elzick show, and then saw this again on Twitter. This is from Libs of TikTok. Apparently, there is an LGBTQ camp in Arkansas aimed at kids as young as 12. They offer name change clinics and haircuts. Points of connect. Random LGBTQ adults mentor queer youth. Now, folks, that is indoctrination into a destructive lifestyle that's harmful to others, that's harmful to these kids, and to others for that matter. We've seen that this is a mental disorder. We've already seen mass shootings because of this. And of course, their increased rate for drug use and bad behavior, suicide attempts actually increases when children are coerced into this type of culture. And don't be surprised if they somehow find a way to use taxpayer funds for this. Now, this is done by Good Shepherd Lutheran Church. And this is, I believe, in Fayetteville, Northwest Arkansas. But again, this is supposed to be a red state. This is supposed to be a state that this stuff doesn't happen. And it's really sad because in a just world, this whole organization, the people involved in this would be put in jail for at least corruption of a minor and all kinds of other things. But because of Democrats, weak rhino Republicans, and a lot of the Chamber of Commerce, the Municipal League, the other various organizations in Arkansas that have kept us last for decades, they've embraced this agenda. And we still have it here in the state, and it seems to be growing. And that's part of the reason, this is one of many reasons why you need to kick the leftists out of your church, and you need to kick them out of the political field. That's part of what I'm going to talk about today. And this is Congressman Matt Gaetz. He is from Florida. He spoke at the Arkansas GOP 1st and 2nd District Committee meeting. At this same meeting, long after this speech, we passed resolutions regarding rule changes. There are apparently 2 rule changes in the Arkansas Republican Party that are going to be voted on in the May State Committee meeting to sabotage the Arkansas GOP State Convention, which is supposed to happen in the summer. Now, these 2 rule changes will make it more difficult for we, the people, conservatives, or MAGA, or however you want to call them, to make changes that are needed in the Republican Party, specifically allowing Democrats to vote in our primary elections. Whether or not we can have Democrats or independents run as Republicans. And there's lots of other changes that are needed within the Republican Party that aren't being done. They're being stopped by consultant groups like. And so Matt Gaetz spoke a little bit about this. I'm not going to play this whole thing because it's 22 minutes long. You can visit it on YouTube, Kick Arkansas Legal, and then JustTheRightAngle. This, but I'll play a little bit more of this and then move on to another kind of a similar issue. By the way, what he's referring to is that all 4 members of Congress from Arkansas, none of them are part of the Freedom Caucus that Matt Gaetz is a member of. And none of them seem to be really part of the effort to make reforms. Now, there is a guy who was running against one of those congressmen, and his name is Clint Penzo. And he is running for he is a state legislator here in Arkansas, and now he is running for Congress against Steve Womack. And I'll just share some of his. I got his website to share for later, but anyway. Again, all 4 of our congressmen, French Hill, Bruce Westerman, Steve Womack, and then I can't remember the guy from the 4th district. Oh, he has a band and everything. Rick Crawford. All 4 of them. Usually when it comes to the budget and the spending on things like funding for the Wag the Dog, Protect Burisma, Protect Zelensky, and special interests faux pas war in Ukraine, they usually vote alongside it. Now, supposedly they're not going to vote for this spending bill that was passed in the Senate because it doesn't deal with border security. But the fact is we need less Steve Womacks and more Clint Penzos, and we need less Kevin McCarthy's and more Matt Gaetz's. So I'll just play a little more of this. So, again, what he has said and why he is saying it is, number one, we definitely, our nation is doing poorly. And number two, Arkansas's contribution to Congress is not really helping in the matter. And sad to say, he's correct. The as he said before, the congressmen from Arkansas are not really part of the solution. And in fact, they've been part of the problem for some time. I think it's probably the best out of the ones we have is Bruce Westerman. Apparently, he'll occasionally vote against the three congressmen from Arkansas on various issues. I remember Rick Crawford, I believe, voted against the effort to install Biden, or I think it was the official vote. But for the most part, yeah, they're not really helping that much. And we could have replaced French Hill with a conservative and Conrad Reynolds. However, A, there weren't quite enough conservatives that showed up, and B, it appears that BS&S may have given French Hill a slight edge in his primary election. And of course, a lot of people thought the same thing regarding Bozeman when he had Jan Morgan and some other people run against him. This is why there is an effort to try to remove these ES&S machines, but it's being stalled by Tim Griffin, John Thurston, and the Arkansas Supreme Court. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with that case, if that's ever even going to get heard in time to put on a ballot initiative, a way to gather signatures to try to get rid of these ES&S machines. But so far, it's in limbo. But what we can do is at least make an effort to remove those that are part of the problem, what I call the uniparty, the consultant class. I call them buffet Republicans, the rhinos, the elitists, the country club Republicans out of our party. And that leads kind of to what I'm taught. One of the things that I also want to highlight here in Arkansas, in Pulaski County, our GOP group met to deal with an issue regarding these rule changes. Changes that are designed to take power away from conservatives were actually done by the National Committee woman, June Matheny. Now, June Matheny did not consult the committee that she is supposed to represent before putting changes. It was just done, and most likely it wasn't written by her. It was most likely just written for her, and then she more or less carried the bucket, as they say, and submitted these on her own. So I'm going to play now and this is from Rumble, the page Just the Right Angle, a debate regarding the resolution regarding what I call uniparty rule changes to the Arkansas GOP.
Mike has spoken in favor of this resolution. Would anyone like to speak against his resolution? Okay. Then we will go to a vote, I guess. So if you vote yes, you are in favor of Mike's resolution. If you vote no, you are against Mike's resolution. So all of those in favor of Mike's resolution, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay.
So I'm sorry, that was the vote. I mistitled that. That's okay. It's just a few seconds, but nobody spoke. Here's the introduction of this, and I won't play all of it.
The delegate from the RNC you have any other questions?
Now, it should be known, this right here is Seth May. He gave an update regarding people that wanted to be delegates to the RNC convention. And unfortunately, he is one of the people that has been part of the problem during the specific example, during the efforts to remove Melanie Gullett from the Arkansas 2nd District via election. Seth was one of the people that tried to tell me that I was not allowed to record, even though I was. And before that, he was an apologist for Asa Hutchinson. And now he is the Arkansas Republican Party director. And since the Republican Party chair, Joseph Wood, hasn't had that much experience in terms of running multiple organizations, he's pretty much the one that calls the shots of the Arkansas Republican Party in terms of process. Now, I don't know if he's the one who wrote the resolutions that June Finney wrote, but let's just say if there were an election in his position, I would vote for somebody else. I'd vote for this person, Lori Justice. I'm going to play a little bit of this regarding this resolution regarding the rule changes to the Arkansas GOP.
Questions, talk to Seth, because he's got that process down. Okay, moving on, in your chair, you are going to see 2 proposed rule changes. These have been proposed by June Medini, who is our state committee woman. Now, these 2 proposed rule changes will be voted on by the state committee on May the 18th, and you need to know what's going on with these. So the 2 changes, the first one is that a lot of you remember that we declared Asa Hutchinson a not recommended candidate for president. Okay, the first proposed rule change does not allow the county committee to declare a candidate above the county level where you file a not recommended candidate. Okay, so you need to know that that is on there. The second thing that has been proposed is that instead of a majority, they would like June would like for it to be a two-thirds in order to change a rule or get a rule passed at the state convention. Right now it's a majority. Those are the 2 proposed rule changes, and you all need to know about this because we will be voting on this. And we are going to be asking your opinion. Under the state party rules, here, I'm going to read directly out of here. Let's see. Quote the section for you. Article 2. Section 6G, under state committee man, state committee woman. The duties of the state committee man, state committee woman shall attend state committee meetings and appropriate political functions, vote on party policy matters and election of state officers, reflecting the will and interests of the county committee, and inform the county committee on actions and decisions adopted by the state committee. To my knowledge, this was never been has never been presented to the body for to ask what we think about this. So I just want you to be aware of it. I want to pass this information on to you, which leads us to the next thing, which is a resolution. I believe Mike Masuko has a resolution that he would like to introduce, so I'm going to hand it over to him. And again, it's in your chair. You can read it. Is in your chair, resolution against 2 proposed rule changes for the May 18, 2024 RPA state meeting.
Now, this is Mike Masuka, the Pulaski County Republican Committee state committee man, who was also not advised about any of these rule changes, and he's going to read the resolutions. What I'm posting here is just the links that you can share with others.
Next slide. I'm going to read this so you can follow along on the board there. You have it in your chairs. It's a resolution against 2024 RTA state meeting, whereas the county committees are represented by candidates running for office above the county level. Rule changes remove power from the county committees by prohibiting county committees from declaring candidates above the county level. And whereas the latest proposed rule changes will require 2/3 vote instead of a simple majority to pass rule changes at the state. As Article 1, Section 1B of the Republican Party rule states that, quote, the final authority in all party matters shall rest in the biennial Republican State Convention, end quote. Therefore, no deliberative body except the state convention should attempt to limit the convention's authority. And whereas the Republican Party is attempting to remove power from the people, and whereas the county committees are the level of political involvement closest to the people and deserve to have a voice in our state. Be it resolved, the Pulaski County Republican Committee condemns the two proposed rule changes which will be voted upon at the May 18, 2024 state meeting. Be it further resolved, the Pulaski County Republican Committee stands with the members of the county committees across the state who want a voice in the Republican Party. Be it finally resolved, the Pulaski County Committee hereby affirms the stance that power should remain with the people in accordance with the Republican Party of Arkansas platform. And I move that we adopt this resolution.
So anyway, the resolution was adopted and then later on seconded. And then, as you saw, there was a vote for it, almost unanimous. There was a few people that voted against. I think there may be one or two people that voted against it. But yeah, the consultant class rhinos want to take away power from we the people. Now, the last state convention, they actually claimed that we weren't credentialed. They then held a mock credentials committee meeting where we were locked out of the building and then sicked the police on us at that event and then at the state convention. I don't know what kind of nonsense they're going to try to pull at this upcoming state convention. I don't know if they're going to hire police. A lot of people that were involved in that, by the way, are no longer in the Republican Party. Sarah Jo Reynolds is no longer Arkansas Republican Party chair. And as far as I know, she's not involved in the Republican Party at all. There is also Janelle Former was the former party chair. I think she's now part of the Republican women's group, which is also still having some of its own problems. And then there are some other, Melanie Gullick, who was the Arkansas 2nd District chair. She's been voted out, replaced with Jennifer Lancaster, and some other characters that were involved in that. But even so, as you can see, we have a long way to go. So if you were in a county committee and you're opposed to what Bill Gaetz is doing, you're tired of what Biden's doing, and Schwab, whatever his name is, the head of that globalist group, and you're sick of Vanguard and BlackRock and Pfizer and big food, big tech running things, the way to fight them is to start in your county committee. Get with your local county committee. Replace the rhinos that may be running it with conservatives. Set up more conservative groups and get involved in the fight. Now, I'll play an update because I got this recently. As you know, that I was involved in the Saline County Young Republicans group. And they actually had an election that would turn out to be a sham. It was done in October. Now, this is the video of that. I've played this several times in my show before. Recently, there were two people, I did not know this at the time, but two of the people that were blocked from being members of the Saline County Young Republicans were actually veterans who had served in, I think, Iraq and Afghanistan. They were on the Dave Elzick show earlier today. And they were first defrauded of $40, which is the entry fee to be a young Republican. They were lied to about the requirements to be a member by this guy, Rusty Jackson. And if you can't see him, here's a much better photo of him here. Oh, I'm sorry, that's an email. This was the chairman of the Greater Saline County Young Republicans. And instead of abiding by the Arkansas Young Republicans bylaws, which are actually on this very link right there, they made their own bylaws in the Arkansas Young Republican State Convention of, I believe it was January 2023, which are in conflict with the current bylaws, and then use those bylaws, these unconstitutional bylaws, to make up a credentials committee to prevent people they didn't like from being a part of the Greater Saline County Young Republicans. And by the way, this greatly matters because the Saline County Young Republicans are able to send, I think, their chair and then the vice chair, or is it or chair and committee man and committee woman, to the state convention. And they replaced Rusty Jackson with this guy, Drew Martin, who, by the way, is also the national committee man, which means he goes to the national convention. There he is with the Arkansas banner plat. I forgot what they call that thing. I think it's a standard. I'll just call it a standard. And this clown should never be representing Arkansas as a young Republican or any other Republican because he was elected in a fictitious manner for chair of the Greater Saline County Young Republicans. Drew Martin, and apparently he has also turned away and threatened police on those two veterans and anybody else who is not part of their good old boy network at the Greater Saline County Young Republicans. Now, I don't know what the procedure is, but from what I understand, there's supposed to be some legal hearings regarding this issue. This is Hannah Reber, who's the first vice chair. This is Stephen Hauserman, second vice chair. I don't know what is going on with this organization. But as I said, they were on the two people that were involved in this from the Dave Elzick show earlier today. And they talked about their experience and sicked on by the police, kind of like I was not too long ago with the Pulaski County committee. Yeah, this guy needs to go, definitely. He needs to be forced out along with this clown. And this, by the way, was in October. If you look at the date, you'll see this was in October. This was posted 3 months ago, but it was really October 26th of 2023. And not much has been done regarding it. Where they can change their rules, that's in May. So something needs to be done regarding that. Well, folks, I'm going to end this with some events and then a little reading from our guy, Watchman Nee. I was able to find these. They're maybe 22nd, if you're in Harrison area, there is at the Signature Bank building, there is going to be a hearing regarding the Arkansas Freedom of Information Act. And it's done by Arkansas Transparency and Government Group. Hutchin will be the main speaker there. This is a great group. There is a ballot initiative to protect the Freedom of Information Act we're gathering signatures for. It was delayed by Attorney General Jim Griffin, but now it is out there and they are collecting signatures at various events. You can contact Arkansas Transparency if you want to find out more about that, how to get involved in that. On this February 24th, this guy from the Babylon Bee, Seth Dillion, CEO of Babylon Bee, and there'll be a silent auction. This will be at their Greene County Lincoln Day dinner. That's in Paragould, which is way up northeast Arkansas. Also, on a side note, there is a tax increase election going on for Paragould. I believe it's going to be in the March 3rd election. Vote no on any taxes. I believe this is the third tax increase they've had within the. I know they fought against a tax increase last year, and they defeated it. And of course, standard operating procedure from these talentless hacks that run a lot of our cities, many of which are Democrats or pretend Republicans, is to just run tax increase and run a tax increase until they get what they want. So the folks up in Paragould, they're having a vote down another tax increase. By the way, if you know of another tax increase, I don't care where it is. I don't even care if it's in Arkansas, if it's in or out of Arkansas. Let me know, because I have campaigned and helped defeat tax increases across this state. I led the effort in defeating the North Little Rock tax increase several years ago under Pat Hayes. I campaigned against one in Pulaski County that went for the buses. I was the manager of the campaign for the defeat the Bryant millage tax increase. That was $107 million they were going to try to steal from people via the property tax to go to the corrupt school system. Now, I managed to campaign against that again, and they needed only $93 million, and they got that one passed. But I feel like if, thanks to my efforts, I managed to save $14 million for the people of Bryant. And by the way, that tax increase the first time was defeated by 8 votes. 8 votes. I know that if I'd not gotten involved, they would be hit up for more taxes in that time. But anyway, Paragould tax increase, and then Saturday the 24th, you want to go there, the Babylon Bee, they have tickets on Eventbrite. Click those. Let me see how much tickets are. They're probably, I guess, $30, $40. $50 to $400. And that goes for like various tables. If you want to get that, or share that with anybody else. If you can't go, but you know somebody's in the area, let them know. And then, nope. And I just realized that I've been clicking on tabs. Share this tab instead. Okay, sorry about that, folks. So this is the tab with the Lincoln Day Dinner Committee, Saturday, February 24th. Here is information on that. And then this is the Forum Town Hall regarding the other thing I was talking about earlier. May 18th, there is going to be the state convention meeting where they will be talking about those rule changes. So you want to, if you can, try to schedule time off to go to that event. Make sure that's on your calendar. That's going to be coming up pretty soon. I don't know when the state convention is going to be, but that'll be another big event. And then, of course, I did mention before Clint Penzo, he's running for Congress. Arkansas primary voting actually started, I believe, yesterday. It's the first day of early voting in the primary election. Right now, you can vote at most polling locations within your county. Do request a paper ballot. Do not trust the ES&S machines. If you are in the 3rd district, this is the guy to support Penzo for Congress. There's also a guy by the name of Brad Smith who is running for state, I believe, state Senate up in Jonesboro. Actually, let me look him up right quick. Make sure I got the right one. Okay, this is Now he is up here, State Representative. I'm sorry. State Representative District 32. There we go. He's got a campaign
for state representative, representing District 32 in Jonesboro. Many of you have supported me in past elections by sending me to the Arkansas House of Representatives 4 times. I'm running again and need your vote in the upcoming primary election. Early voting begins on February 19th through March the 5th. I'm a constitutional conservative with a stellar voting record, receiving recognition for my fiscal and politically conservative votes. During my 4 terms in office, I consistently carried difficult bills to make Arkansas a safer and better place to live, even if those bills went against the status quo.
Yes, that's true. And he was part of the effort to pass the bill to ban sanctuary cities, which a lot of Rhino Republicans opposed. I was there in committee when they first voted that bill down, and we melted the phone lines along with Jan Morgan, Linda Collins Smith, and others. And we managed to push and get that passed. But Brad Smith was right there in amongst us when that was going on. So anyway, he's running up there in Jonesboro area. If you have an idea on the judges, the judicial races, let me know if there's another primary or, again, a tax increase that's going on, especially in Arkansas. Let me know. Let others know as soon as possible. We need to get and put in conservatives wherever we can. So, folks, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close with a word from Watchman Needs a Table in the Wilderness. This is a person who suffered under communist China, the very same people that own a lot of our politicians. Crypto mining facilities and a lot of other facilities. This is the group that Son worked for. A lot of our politicians on both sides of that work for. And Watchman Nee suffered under these people, but he endured and wrote several things regarding this Christianity. February 21st, we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin, in Romans 7:14. If you have a very clumsy servant and he just sits still and does nothing, then his clumsiness does not appear. If he does nothing all day, he will be of little use to you. It is true, but at least he will do no damage that way. But if you say to him, now come along, don't idle away your time, get up and do something, then immediately the trouble begins. He knocks the chair over as he gets up, stumbles over a footstool a few paces further on, then smashes some precious dish as soon as he handles it. If you make no demands among him, his clumsiness is never noticed. But as soon as you ask him to do anything, his awkwardness is at once apparent. Ask with us all, the demands were all right, but the man himself was all wrong. For we all sinners by nature. The trouble is that without the law, we do not know it. So long as God asks nothing of us, all seems to go well. It is when he demands of us something that the occasion is provided for a grand display of our sinfulness, that through the commandment sin might become exceedingly sinful. So, folks, when you get out of your comfort zone, politically and spiritually, you're going to make mistakes.
He's on the show.
See there, this was the Dave Elzick show from earlier, which, by the way, let me post this here since I have it up, that you can share with others, where Kevon Bradshaw and who was the other guy both talked about their experience in being hated and vilified by Rusty Jackson, Drew Martin, and the other good old boy network that want to run the Saline County Young Republicans. So, folks, that's it. Tune in next Wednesday, 12:35. Now, some various other things to talk about. I did have a little bit of a hookup with doing Facebook live stream that I am constantly improving. Of course, there's links there you can donate and find a way to get involved.